All right, folks, we are live for our weekly live stream to talk about our niche sites and where we are in our online businesses. If you are here already and I see that Pete is here, let me know how the audio is sounding. I'm checking the mic to make sure that we are good. I see 7 people who are in the room or where we are right now. But if you are here, go to the chat and let me know that you are here, that you can hear me. And as always, this is our weekly sort of hangout. If you have coffee or something stronger, let me know. I just look forward to having like a nice chat with everybody to see what is going on. Saying hi to folks who have said what's up in the chat. So far, I see Pete. What's going on? I cannot wait to hear how things have been going for you in the last week since our last meeting. And then I see Mike. How's it going? What's going on? So what I have been doing this last week while we wait for people to jump on, and again, if you are here, go ahead and just hit the thumbs up button, just hammer it so we know that, 1, that you're here, and 2, to let YouTube know that we are here, and hopefully it will notify more people. And maybe we will get some more folks to jump on, and if not, then it's cool. Hey, Chris, how is it going? I'm wondering, it's September. So that means that August wrapped up. And I'm wondering, Chris, if you are going to be able to share how August went and if it went as well as you were hoping, because I know you had your first $3,000 month not very long ago. And there was some hopes maybe that August would be even more awesome. So I'm really curious to hear about that. Hey, Kamal, what is going on? It is great to chat with you. So I wanted to talk really briefly before people get on and start asking questions. I finally landed the interview that I've been trying really hard to land, and that is with Chelsea Clark from blogsforsale.co. Her brand is called Her Paper Route, and I had literally been trying for a long time, like ethically stalking her. I joined her email list and I was going to, her website and just consuming all her content. And I finally got to talk with her, and it's going to be several weeks before I think I can get it out here just because I have so much content backed up. But that happened, and maybe some other cool stuff will come out of that chat. It was just really awesome. So those of you out there who are thinking about podcasting or YouTube networking or marketing, is just so cool to go out and talk to people. I can't recommend it enough. So you play, I say, what is up? Thanks for jumping on. And there is Laura. So one thing I haven't seen anybody do yet, I've been on for all of 3 or 4 minutes, is where are the updates? What is going on with you guys, and what happened in the last week? Any news, anything wild? I mean, for me, it was sort of like a week of like head down, just really, really, really focused on creating content. But I would like to know what other folks are working on. Chris says he's not doing a video on it this month. And I say, okay, that is your prerogative. You're right. I'm still curious. I want to see you do well. That's all. Chris says he didn't do the video, but he did do, let's see, I'll put it up here so people can see it. He said, I did do $5,619.45. I wish I had the little sound maker, but as it is, I'm going to give myself a pat on the back for you because that is awesome. And if you, while you're over there in the chat, you want to give us any little takeaways from what you think was really working this month, or it's just a product of really digging in and trying hard, I'm sure we would all love any wisdom that you have to share about it. Let's see. Pete says that he added more articles and sped up timed article writing, which is great. Got approved for skim links, which is awesome. Created the FDA affiliate notice and started adding affiliate links. Super cool. Great progress. It's awesome. Chris says he's going to do a blog post. Okay, well, let us know when you have a blog post up, and then we, just come here on Wednesday and say when it is up, and we'll just go ahead and link it in the description so people can go and check it out. Laura says that she only wrote 3,000 words this week so far. I don't get how some people manage 10K. Some people can really sit down and jam it out. Some folks are creating content around something that they know really well. So that, for example, if I wanted to talk about parenting, I could probably start talking about parenting and dictate 100,000 words between now and tomorrow morning. It's different when you may be either creating content about something you don't know as well or requires research. Or it could be that maybe your writing style is different and your process is different. It's great to hear other people's progress, but it's also, I guess, dangerous because then you start to compare yourself and you think, oh, there must be something wrong with me because I can't do those things or I don't do those things that they are doing. And maybe the word is yet. Maybe you don't do those things yet. Or maybe it's just different. And that's not a bad thing. So I am still going to give myself the pat on the back for you because 3,000 words is still 3,000. 3,000 words is still 3,000 words. Girl, like, come on. Seriously, that's still progress. That's what we're looking for here. There's Denise. She said that she spent the week making more downloadable files. I have no 4, and they are bringing in over $300 a month now, and I'm addicted. I think that downloadables are something that a lot of people overlook in favor of focusing on low competition keywords in order to get ad revenue or affiliate offers. I think downloadables can be great to get links. So you have, even if you're not charging people for them, having a downloads page, that gives people a really good reason to link to your website. Because maybe they wouldn't necessarily want to link back to you simply because you had a great informative article. But if you had something like a great downloads page that had tons of resources where people would want to, one, bookmark that and come back to, or go to Pinterest or to go to any of their social platforms and say, hey, this is a great place to get this stuff. That's a great way to get links. As far as getting money on top of them, that's even better. Like, that's awesome. Ooh, Mike says the VA is doing a brilliant job week in and getting many thousands of impressions. That is great. One of the things, though, that I struggled with Pinterest is that I was able to, when I was trying really hard with it, is like getting lots of impressions was really awesome, but then getting the clicks. So getting people not just to get shown your pin, but to click on it. That to me was the big challenge that I struggled with. Even, people saving your pins, that's great because it probably will increase your numbers of impressions and the likelihood that somebody will click, but actually getting the click, that is the challenge. Not just clicking on the pin, but to click through it. So they see it, but just clicking on it to look at it and then to click to say, okay, I'm so curious about what is in here in this pin and then in the description that I have to go to the website to check it out. And that is the big challenge. Pete says he's ramping up content production. The goal to get 300 public. Man, I cannot speak today. Getting published articles out within 6 months. So I think that is a great goal. And that was the goal I actually went through and did with my own site last year in 2019. And it did well for me. So I'm excited to hear about this and see where it goes. Talking to Denise, breaking into info products, getting 0 sales, and the whole thing to collect sales tax. The sales tax is a challenge, and I'm not going to go down that road because that is like a whole entire live stream or a whole entire video on its own. You're very welcome, Laura. Seriously, that's just like continuing to push on. That's all it takes. There's Shake. How's it going? You called me out this last week for, I think, my constant comments about being old, and you're probably right. I think I play to, it's like, oh, hey, everybody else is younger than us. But I think I do have some insecurities about being 40 on this platform when most, I don't want to say all, but a lot of the people who are really crushing it are really, really, really so much younger than me. And you're right. There's, I think, a lot of people in this group who are this age or in roundabout in this age. And I think that we can totally be successful here. And so I'm just going to stop talking about how old I am and how old that I feel. Denise says she collects tax in the state and only had 1 New Yorker. Hey, Alexander, what is going on? If you are jumping on, please do us a favor of dropping a note in the chat about what you were working on, what your progress was, what you actually got done this last week. And if you got nothing done, then let's own up to it and say, well, why? Like, why didn't it work out? I didn't get very much content created as far as written content. I think I got 1 blog post done, but I did record, I think, about 10 interviews. So I made connections with 10 different people around the world and had basically 1-hour chat with 10 different people. And it was really cool. And some cool things may come out of it. But yeah, that's what I got done. And I've got a whole list of stuff over here on my notepad that I want to get done here in the next couple of days. Z says, tree about free outloads. True. I'm guessing that says true. I have about 25 free downloads and 4 paid. The free ones build trust. Yep. Trust and links. Yeah, I got to get somebody who knows what they're doing. And maybe that's the key, is just to bring someone on the channel who wants to talk about income tax and sales tax and all the tax that involves with e-commerce and info products. Ooh, there's Matt jumping on. Hey, Matt, what is going on? You caught us today. He says he's working on an app to help move my business away from Facebook. I need to put the control back in my hands. You know, right now, especially with the notice everybody got on Facebook about them changing the terms of service, they basically are telling us that they're only going to show Facebook users what they want to show them. And being reliant upon Facebook traffic right now is kind of a scary place to be. Guru stated in the last week that only Pinterest stats that matter are clicks. Rest are vanity stats that don't bring in dollars. Well, yes and no. I mean, they may not bring in affiliate income, but vanity stats can be important for things like partnerships and sponsorships. So people who see that your accounts get so many impressions a month, I mean, maybe that's the type of level of interest that they're looking for. Maybe they're looking for brand awareness. So it may not directly mean sales from an affiliate link directly to you, but that still could help you build sponsorships. And as much as I hate to say that vanity metrics don't matter, I mean, they do matter, just not necessarily for ad revenue or for affiliate links. They just could mean a lot to someone else who is seeing you and seeing your account. And maybe that's it foremost in my mind right now, because those are some of the things that I'm working on. But Mike says that I'm the old git in here then. Well, you haven't owned up to how old you are, and we've just discussed that it doesn't matter. I'm glad to have you here no matter what. There is Bob. What is going on? How's it going, Bob? How was your week? How's your week? How are you? There is Dante. Folks, we got 5 thumbs up over there, and I've got close to, well, we've had people, the chat's bouncing up, people jumping in and out. But if you were here and you have not already smashed the like button, please do that. And also let me know what you are working on. Matt says, Facebook has gone mad. I don't think this is a new thing, Matt. I think Facebook has been pretty much out of control and out of our control for several years now. And the fact that you are killing it on Facebook is awesome, and probably a testament to how hard that you are working on Facebook. But it feels like the Wild West right now, and not just on Facebook, in lots of places. Pete says, a teacher from Income School Livestream commented that it was great that a 55-year-old started a successful site. To a millennial, it probably seems ancient, not at that age yet, but it made me feel old. Yeah, you know what? My 40s are going to be awesome. That's all I have to say about that. Shake says, did anyone notice traffic going down after August 10th and didn't recover? I lost about 25% traffic and not recovered. So wasn't August 10th around or about the date where Google had their whoops, like their whoops flip, where they said somebody flipped the switch? I also saw Matt Diggity a few days after that mention that it looked like there was another sort of experiment going on with the algorithm. My site bounced up, like straight up on August 10th, and then went back to normal. And then I haven't really seen a whole lot of bouncing around after that. But if folks are out there and who are listening to this, just chime in if you saw any major dips in traffic after August 10th or any other bumps and bruises here in the month of August. Chris says, don't worry about age. It's like surfing. It's true. I think to be in this game, to have like super gray hair and to be crushing it, like, yeah, 18-year-old millennial. That also dates people if they know what this is. If you don't know what the people's elbow is, then I think you are not old enough to be here on this stream. You know, that's one of the reasons I'm doing it, is so that I can have extra money just in general, but especially for retirement. Matt says, you should have seen this coming. I don't know. I mean, shoulda, woulda, coulda. We're pushing 100 posts a day, and Facebook keeps disabling our ability to post due to spamming, regardless of engagement. Yeah, I mean, you could have an active community that really wants to see your posts, and Facebook can throttle that because they want to control it. There is Mr. X Stitch. What is going on? Longtime listener, first time caller. Thanks for what you're doing. Well, if you are the first time jumping in, please introduce yourself. Tell us about you. Tell us what you are working on so we can encourage you to come back. And then when you do come back, we can ask you and know what it is that you are working on. We don't get tons of people to these streams, but the people who do come regularly. And so I have a pretty good idea what a lot of folks are working on. And it's pretty cool to be able to talk to people on the rig. Laura says, I'm the opposite. I'm only 26 and feel so green. And you feel, and being blogging is behind the screen because you don't feel like people would trust a younger person for good information. You know, I guess part of what we're doing here is sort of overcoming our own, misinformation and misconceptions and insecurities or anxieties about jumping into something new. You know, I perceive somebody who is younger to be at an advantage rather than being older because one, they're in this generation that is used to using digital products to do things like to go to school and to make money. And, you know, the other side of it is they say, oh, well, I'm really young. Who would want to trust us for information? And I think who would want to trust us old farts for information because we're dinosaurs versus, you know, the young folks. So again, I guess we're all just trying to get over ourselves. Yep. Congrats. Welcome. Alexander says, I'm ready to start, but feeling stuck. Procrastinating big time, having all resources ready. You know, sometimes you just have to you just have to kick yourself in the butt and just do it. You have time and feel stuck. So accountability. Then there are a lot of folks in here who have recently started or who maybe used accountability to get out of the gate. I mean, what you would want to have somebody to know, one, like what it is you're working on, and then two, to set out your goals for the week. I mean, you can use this group for that. You could say right here, right now, today is the day that I'm going to start, and here's what I'm going to accomplish for the week. And then when you come back to report, maybe all you need to do is committing to coming back next week and saying, here's what I did, here's what I didn't do. And there's people all around us, all around you, who can either support you or say, you know, it's time. It's really time. Maybe what you need to do today is say, okay, here's what I'm going to do this week. If you want accountability, like honestly, if you are honestly ready to get started and you have the time and you have the resources, you have everything, then please, before you leave the stream, just tell me, what are you going to do this week? And then commit to coming back next week to do those things. It doesn't have to be, I want to put up 20 posts. Maybe it's, I'm going to install WordPress on my domain and write one post. That's it. And if you could do that, then next week it'll be write another post. And before you know it, you'll be on your way. The elbow thing. Oh, gosh. Somebody going to have to tell her what the people's elbow is. Bob says that he found out today that Cloudflare has been blocking Googlebots for months on one of the sites. Well, you know, for folks who are worried about indexing and aren't seeing traffic, then sometimes that would be a good solution to check to see if Cloudflare is giving you trouble, giving you problems. That's a great note for troubleshooting. We want to know, has Alexandra registered her domain? And I think she said, yes, I have quite a few of them. So my question, Alexandra, is have you written any posts? Have you written any posts on any of these domains? Looks like my comment is now making everyone to open up and talk about age. You know what? Age is, that's the glory about the internet, right? Is you could be any age and find a way to be successful here. It doesn't matter how old you are. We could start at 15, 25, 35, 65, 85. And you could still, if you put in the work, make something valuable. Pete says, it's funny how millennials have rarely seen classic music. So in Asia, people have never heard of Star Wars or Trek. So what I'm doing with my kids is actually going back and making them watch classic movies, starting with the old Disney movies. And a lot of them aren't very PC. And I watch them, I kind of go, ugh. But, you know, we're going through because it's important to have these cultural references. All right, there's Mr. X. So when I said X stitch, that must mean cross stitch. Got it. Thank you for jumping on and then sharing. So you have a 12-year-old needlecraft website. So that is awesome. 12 years old. That's going to put you way ahead as far as just what you can do with the site. And you produce a magazine, but recently started a Project 24 site in the gardening niche, which is coming along. Well, how old is it? I mean, what do you want to talk about strategy, as far as keyword research or anything else? Like, lay it on us. We've got lots of people in here and around who are on the verge of getting started or who just need that little kick, apparently. If you can do it, then I think we could all do it. Talking about domains. Says, it's nice to see your thoughts in the sector and work out how I can apply these to a blog that has been around the block for a long time. Well, I'm wondering about the growth of your 12-year-old cross-stitching site. What it is that you are doing with it and what your goals are long-term, or at least in the 12 months for making it go. Tell us more about it. I'm so curious now. Laura says, is trying to give Alexander this push, like, just let's go, right? Let's go. And is somewhat suffering as a consequence. Oh, yeah. Can you smell it? Well, if you don't know what that means, somebody needs to go and watch some WWE. Let's see. Also, Pete is also in the UK. Use the weekly chat for accountability. This is a great place to come to talk to people. I will sometimes share what I'm working on and what I did not do or did do. I've decided I don't think that people think what I'm working on is necessarily as interesting to talk about what everybody else is working on. But I still manage also to share when I've had a particularly bad week or I need some, like, a kick in the pants. So again, like, come here. For instance, Emilia knows my site, so I cannot BS. I wrote 10 posts when I did it. I trust Pete, so I don't necessarily go to his website weekly to make sure he's not BSing us. But now that I that's a good reminder, and I will, Pete. I'm watching you. Alexander says, that's it. I commit to that. Install WordPress and put up the first post. All right, let's do it. Everybody who is here, there is 20 people here who 33, Matt says he's 33. There are 20 people here, Alexandra, who are witness to this, and you better come back next week. And in fact, I'm going to write this down. And in next week's live stream, if you are not here, I'm going to have no idea how to find you because all I know is your name is Alexandra and I have your YouTube handle, but come back here and tell us how you did. Seriously. Seriously, seriously. Matt says he's 33. That is a good age. Let's see. Anybody have feedback on John Dykstra's Fat Stacks course? Which one? Which one are you looking at? Because I have gotten several of them. Pete says that he has gotten several of them. Asking what P24 means. That means Project 24. That's the income school academy course for getting people started blogging. So Project 24, it's getting to a certain amount of income in 24 months. So Mr. Cross-Stitch is talking about his 12-year-old site. It's a multi-author site that is leveled out at about 35,000 page views a month, brings in ad revenue from Azoic, but has mostly enabled other opportunities. So ad revenue, do you have any affiliate stuff on it at all? Because it seems like a cross-stitching website would involve many products that could necessarily involve potentially downloadables on the site or info products or referrals to other affiliate programs. So I'm super curious about whether or not you have any of that stuff on your site and whether or not you are reaching out or starting to set up content to try to incorporate other income streams. Let's see. WP Eagle has a great video on setting up your site in under 3 hours that might motivate you. There you go. And I like Alex's content over there. I think it's a great place for people to go to who really want to get started, because he just goes over there and does a lot of the more beginner detail-y stuff about how to get started. And he'll do these walkthroughs, literally just live on screen. I don't have 3 hours to sit to watch a whole one of those, but for folks that want that support, it's great that it's there. Laura says that she bought the bundle a few weeks ago and love it. And it doesn't go deep in the beginner stuff, which I think is what I appreciate about what John is doing, because I have bought big courses and you kind of feel yourself disappointed because you get in there and 3/4 of the course is the beginner stuff, like how to set up WordPress, which is awesome, right? But that's not what I bought it for. I bought it for the more in-depth stuff. So what John does is he just takes these little tactics or tools and breaks them down into a more affordable info product so that people don't necessarily have to buy everything. They can just buy the one strategy that they want to work on. I think it's really good to subscribe to his email list and then wait for him to do sales and deals. He'll do a 50% off sale, sometimes on specific courses and sometimes on all of them. And his emails are fairly good as well. They're blog posts basically, but he shares some really good tips in there, even though he's selling affiliate products in a lot of them. I recommend that everybody who's into this space be on his email list. Cross Stitch says, I'm in the process of overhauling a lot of bulk content. Used to have 4,000 posts, but now 1,500, and trying to do things to keep the content on point and useful. Awesome. 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 There's Josh. What's going on? He's in the final push to 100 posts in 4.5 months. Man, I don't know that right now, based upon all the stuff that I'm doing, that I could get 100 posts out in 4.5 months if I had to write them all myself. I mean, it used to be that I would bust out a couple hundred posts in a month, and I think, burn myself out. I just can't sit down and actually write that. I basically ruined myself. Now I would probably have to hire that out to get that done. The bundle offered at $397. We're still talking about John D. But it's an endless task, particularly as we still produce about 20 posts a month. It is definitely stepping back and looking at the forest for the trees is really important, especially when you have a site that is 12 months old and kind of throttled at 35,000 visits or page views. I forget which one it was. Definitely doing some global overall thinking, because I'm assuming you have probably plenty of links and you should be able to be really competitive. I'm just wondering really what is holding you back from just crushing it on some of that traffic. And maybe cross-stitching is a topic that is very niche and there's only so many people that are going to be interested in it. I mean, it's not something that 99% of the world does, but I think the people who are into it are pretty obsessed with it. Man, you could say, oh, I really want to focus on growing more traffic for ad revenue, but I'm just really wondering if trying to do more with the audience that you have and the people that are coming in, it should be more of the focus. Alexander says that she's going to come back and report after she installs WordPress and writes her first blog post. So everybody, she's coming back next week. Alexander is in big trouble, and no bugs today, but I am wearing my Buffalo Wild Wings shirt. And I'm wearing it as an example for folks who decide that they want to advertise on this space right here. If you have a shirt or brand that you would like to advertise, it could go right here. But for now, I advertise because I have like 10 of these shirts, Buffalo Wild Wings. I don't actually even care for the chain that much, but their shirts, like their server shirts. My brother used to be a server, and so he's got like 20 of them. They're just really light and comfortable. I like to work in them. Checking out Niche Safari. Sorry, guys, I'm really behind. I'm over here just talking and not paying attention at all. The course I'm referring to, have to get my kids out of the bath. Don't go anywhere. We will be here at least, well, as long as people are still interested in chatting. It looks like we've got 26 people over there and only 8 thumbs smashed, whatever. I'm going to put the people's elbow on some people. Hit the button if you're looking at it. Email for stitching sites sounds like gold. It does, doesn't it? Right? If you have that much traffic and people are really, really, really fired up about that niche, and I just have to feel like people who are looking at cross-stitching websites are folks that are really into it. It just seems like you should be able to remarket those folks really well with some sort of product or some sort of service or something. I can't imagine only doing ad revenue for 35,000 page views a month in that type of niche. I haven't found, we're talking about John Dykstra's courses about the long tail keywords. I think for folks that are just getting started and who need to be introduced to the concept of keyword research and long tail keywords, I think that is a better one for beginners. Alexandra likes John's course. I mean, I already said I'm a huge John Dykstra fan. Josh says he's been good, just doing the smart thing of working, not watching. Yep. What was that? I forget who I was talking to earlier this week, and about the consuming versus producing. So in general, the people who are producing the content are the people who are making it, and the people who are consuming it are the ones that are spending money. So, it's great that everybody is here, but I totally understand for people who say, "Oh, I'm going to spend that hour during that live stream working instead of hanging out in the live stream." I definitely could be making more money not being here right now, but I need this stream to talk to people, because otherwise I think that I might just like go crazy, because I sit at this desk by myself all the time and I don't talk to anybody. So yeah, but I agree. Get the work done. Don't spend hours and hours and hours consuming YouTube unless you have a specific thing that you need. We're talking about Mr. Cross Stitch's website about affiliate income. There's some, and I have a good Patreon support as well as good numbers on social. I make a living from the various elements, so I'm not complaining. So it seems like for folks who are into quilting and knitting and all the rest, that patterns are a really big thing on the site. So I assume that patterns are definitely a component of cross stitching. And I mean, do people sell patterns on the site, and is that an option? The stitching site has a lot of potential. It really sounds like it does, and it's really exciting to think about all the things you could potentially do with it. Dante says, how did you do a couple hundred posts in a month, even if you didn't write it? Editing takes me forever, it seems. I hired people, and then I probably didn't edit it as much as I should have. And in hindsight, if I were to do it again, like if I were to start from scratch this month, I probably wouldn't try to rush to put up hundreds of posts. I would probably focus on clusters of 10 articles at a time on one topic, and then move on. And I would worry less about quantity and more about quality. But when I first getting started, just the rush to get stuff up, I went through that and it did well for me. And now with that experience, I could definitely apply that going forward. I haven't been through John D's Pinterest course yet either, and I haven't talked to anybody yet who's got any comments about how it is working out, but I generally trust his content. So Parmesan garlic wings are life. So, but that's not unique to Buffalo Wild Wings, right? That could be basically anywhere, and right? Or is it something special about what Buffalo does? Wondering if you won the shirt in a hot wing contest. No, my brother is, or used to be, a server there, and he was just dumping out a box of old shirts, and I like them because I like big, comfy shirts. Because if I'm going to sit at a desk all day, I mean, why sit and not be comfortable? So, no specific update today. No site updates. No case study update. Man. The AdSense case study, I kind of lost momentum on it and excitement about it when it started getting hammered this year by the Google. And so what I've done, instead of getting frustrated and feeling defeated, is I've just sort of stepped back and kind of let it roll for a bit, and just sort of watching it and seeing what happens, and consuming some content about what the SEOs and the professionals out there who are saying and what they're saying. And I think what I plan to do, instead of dumping a whole lot of content into the site the way that I have been previously, is I'm just going to look at the most popular articles and topics, and then just start building out small content clusters around those topics. So just as maybe building a moat is the wrong word, but I have 10 articles that probably bring in the most of the traffic to the site, and then just going to those and saying, okay, let's look for other keywords around those topics so that I can build clusters around those, and then just slowly go down. But honestly, haven't wanted to come back and bring in an update, because I'm going to say, more of the same. It's basically doing the same as it was last month, or some incremental increases based upon ad revenue increasing as we start moving closer and closer to the holidays. But I don't have anything like groundbreaking to report, and that's why I haven't done another case study. I did register one of my other garage sort of in storage sites with Azoic, and I wanted to let it run for a little while before I started posting about it, because I also want to start working on it. Matt says he's hungry for lunch and he's going to check that out. Alpha Beta Gamma says, did May hip date hit you too? It did. It didn't hit all of my sites, but it mostly hit my case study site. And I was talking with Benjamin Strushnik. I totally butchered his last name, from Golden Web SEO, for the podcast this last week. And he had some thoughts about the update in May having hit sites with a more loose content structure. And so that was his opinion, that it wasn't links. Well, maybe it was part of links, but it had a lot to do with the site structure. So sites that had really tightly knit content clusters, even incorporating the homepage, that those sites seem to do better. And that most of the sites that he has seen that got hammered by the May the 4th were sites that didn't have very good site organization. And it's hard for me to say, nuh-uh, you're wrong, because the site that got hit by that update is the one on my site that is not organized as well, because I was experimenting a lot on it. So I don't mind, admitting that I have issues with the Google algorithm updates, because I think a lot of us are getting hit by them. And it's not just people who are doing black hat stuff or gray hat or anything. I think it's there's a lot going on and a lot changing with Google right now. So yeah, it hit me, and I'm working through it, and I'm not giving up. Mr. Cross Stitch is headed to bed, or have to go, kids' bedtime. I can't say that we will be here all day, but we will be here. And I think I am finally caught up on the comments. One of the things that I did want to talk about briefly was my experiment with Content Refine. And that's one of those other companies that are run and operated by the group that John Gillum and Motion Invest are associated with. They want to give away a couple of their packages, and the Content Refine packages, they will take a piece of content that you have and then rewrite it, add more content, optimize it, and then give it back to you and see how it performs. And I had a piece of content done about a month ago, I guess 6 weeks ago, and I've just been 2 pieces of content, 2 URLs, and I've just been watching how that plays out. But they want to give away two services to people, and I've been trying to decide what the criteria should be for the folks in this community about who should get that. I mean, contests, or who folks that are the most active in these in the live stream. So if you guys have any ideas, I would be happy to hear them. Also, I just wanted to touch on briefly what's going on with the Ezoic Just Start program. If you recall, in the last month or so, and I know there's a couple folks in this community who went through it, but the Just Start program, they are testing out helping people get onto the Ezoic platform who don't have maybe any traffic or very little traffic. And part of that was they were sending the people who signed up, the first couple hundred people, through a set of courses. And I know some of the folks who went through this did go through those courses and then did get onto the Ezoic platform and are now actively using it. And the reason I just want to bring it up is, one, if there are any folks who are in the chat who are doing it, have any advice or criticism or comments about going through that. And also, just so for folks who are out there saying, I didn't hear about that, I didn't know about it. All I've heard people talking about is Mediavine moving their minimum threshold to 50,000. And where does that put me when I have a site that is very small? And just so you know that is there, and that is something that they are working through, and that they may in the future offer that again, or just in general, maybe looking to remove overall the minimum traffic threshold requirement. So I just want to put that out there, and again, put a call out. So if anybody who's involved in that program has anything to say about the courses, so the 3 live stream access courses, and then also how that plays out with actually getting access to the platform. Put it out there. The chat is super quiet, and either that's because I'm annoying or because there's nothing else going on. So what I'm going to do then, unless people have questions or comments, is I'm going to wrap this up and get to work. I've enjoyed talking with everybody, as always. We've got 28 people jumping on, and I am going to go ahead and jump off because I have a whole bunch of stuff to get done today. As always, I've enjoyed everyone, and I look forward to talking with you next week on Wednesday. All right.